At FEMA, we understand responding to and recovering from disasters. It's what we do. The federally declared disaster due to the COVID-19 pandemic is no exception. The pandemic has affected all of us in some way. Many are grieving the loss of someone in their life because of COVID-19. And although we cannot change the outcome of what has happened, we are dedicated to helping ease some of the financial stress and burden created by this deadly virus. We want you to know we are here. The Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2021 and the more recently signed American Rescue Act of 2021 direct FEMA to provide funeral assistance for COVID-19 related funeral expenses. If you incurred funeral expenses for an individual who died from COVID-19 in the United States, including the U.S. territories and the District of Columbia, after January 20th, 2020, you could be eligible for COVID-19 funeral assistance from FEMA. Before calling to apply, please have the following information ready: your Social Security number, date of birth, email, mailing address, and contact phone numbers. You will also be asked to provide your household annual gross income. This program is not income dependent, and your answer does not affect eligibility. The name, Social Security number, and date of birth for the deceased individual. The location or address where the death occurred, which can be found on the death certificate. Information about burial or funeral insurance policies, if applicable. Information about other funeral assistance received, such as donations, assistance from voluntary organizations, if applicable, and routing, checking, or savings account numbers for direct deposit if requested. Starting April 12th, FEMA will open its COVID-19 funeral assistance line. Individuals can apply for COVID-19 funeral assistance by calling 844-684-6333. For those who need assistance in an alternative language, options will be provided when you call. Once you have all of the necessary information available to apply, a FEMA representative will be ready to take your call. If you incurred funeral expenses for more than one deceased individual, FEMA will help you include multiple deceased individuals on your application. When you apply for assistance, you may want to include a co-applicant on the application if another person also incurred funeral expenses for the same deceased individual. As a co-applicant, this person will also be able to access and update the application. If someone other than the applicant or co-applicant contributed to the funeral expenses, you may provide the receipts for consideration. If you would like to include a co-applicant, when you apply, you will need to provide their name, Social Security number, and date of birth. Please have all of this information available for the deceased individuals when you apply. The application process will take about 20 minutes. After you apply for assistance, FEMA will send you a request for information or RFI letter that will outline all of the documentation needed to process your COVID-19 funeral assistance application. If you intend to apply, please begin to gather this documentation now. A copy of the death certificate for the deceased individual or individuals. The death certificate must indicate the death was caused by, may have been caused by, or was likely a result of COVID-19 or COVID-19-like symptoms. If the death certificate does not include anything related to COVID-19, you may be able to change or amend it. This process starts with contacting the person who certified the death, such as a doctor who provided treatment, a coroner, or a medical examiner. That person's name and address is on the death certificate. You may be able to present them with evidence to support that the death was attributable to COVID-19. Documentation of the funeral expenses incurred. Examples of these expenses include, but are not limited to, receipts, a funeral home contract, and invoices. The documentation must include the name of the individual who incurred the expenses, the total amount of the expenses, the deceased individual's name, and the date the funeral expenses were incurred. Documentation of any funds you may have received from another source. This includes burial or funeral insurance policies or financial assistance received from voluntary organizations or government programs and agencies to assist with funeral expenses, if applicable. FEMA will reimburse for funeral expenses related to funeral services and interment or cremation. Some of these expenses include, but are not limited to, transfer of remains, casket or urn, burial plot or cremation niche, marker or headstone, use of funeral home and equipment, cremation or interment costs or costs associated with producing and certifying the death certificates. Any receipts received for expenses that are not related to funeral services will not be reimbursed. If you have any questions or you want to check on your application, call our COVID-19 Funeral Assistance line at 844-684-6333 starting April 12th. The FEMA representatives will be ready and able to assist. Once you have applied for COVID-19 funeral assistance with one of our representatives over the phone, we encourage you to create your own disaster assistance account. Having a disaster assistance account makes it easier to check on the status of your application, provide your documents to FEMA by uploading them directly, and receive any letters from FEMA electronically. Simply go to www.disasterassistance.gov. Click the Check Status button and then follow the instructions to create an account. Once you set up your disaster assistance account, you are now ready to upload documents. The documents you upload should be PDF or JPEG files. Upload all pages of a document in one file, and each file should be uploaded separately. To do this, access your account. Select the Upload Center tab. For Select Assistance Type, choose Funeral from the drop-down menu. For Select Document Type, click on the drop-down menu and select the best description of the document you are uploading. For example, burial insurance, funeral receipt, or death certificate. Check the box to confirm you are providing all the required information in your documents. Select the Choose File button to locate the file you want to upload. Click on the desired file and select Upload Now. Once you've finished uploading your documents, you can then log out of your account. Please allow up to 72 hours for your documents to appear in your file. While uploading documents is the fastest way to get them to FEMA, you may also mail the documents to P.O. Box 10001, Hyattsville, Maryland 20782, or fax the documents to 855-261-3452. When submitting documents to FEMA, please be sure to include your name, application number, disaster number, and the last 4 digits of your Social Security number on the submitted documents. If you incurred funeral expenses related to COVID-19, we look forward to helping you with your application. We are here.